Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's Alexander A. Manzoni with the Manzoni in the Morning Show. How's everybody doing? I'm blindfolded. People on the audio only aren't going to be able to see this, but I am blindfolded with an American flag bandana in response to the Bird Box challenge, which has taken America by storm. It's very easy to do things in life when you're blindfolded, especially read poetry. And, yeah, this isn't gonna be easy. Fuck that shit. Let's do it the normal way, the sane way. How about that? This poem is called The Circus, Bird Box Challenge, and Phone Booth Stuffing. Welcome to the circus. Please take your tickets and sit down. The show is about to start. We have today a new internet challenge, and there are plenty of folks lined up to take the plunge. If anyone dies in the meantime, may the crimes transpired expunged. Perhaps put on a blindfold and go out into the world. Maybe try to drive around, or like in the movie, get on a raft with two equally blindfolded toddlers on a raging river. No danger there. The elders don't care. They think we deserve whatever we get for being so stupid. So stupid they think we should lose the right to vote. But what about when they used to pack cars and phone booths in the 1950s? I'm sure someone must have suffocated at some point. Either way, this challenge shit has been around a lot longer than they want you to believe. That we are the dumbest generation yet. Niet! You are the ones who birthed us. You are the ones we trusted to raise us. If your parents didn't do their jobs, that is your problem. Puzzles, we will solve them as long as we survive long into the next day. Quiet down, the show is about to begin. Blindfolded girl juggling chainsaws. We are in awe. A hand truck pushed by carnies enters the stage from the right. Upon it is a rusting telephone booth and 50 period perfect sweater bound college students. Can they accomplish this? Says the ringmaster general, dancing a jig with tiny clowns in tow. We'll have to wait and see, folks. The first dozen students cram themselves within, some losing their skin, scraped from elbows, pawn-sharp stainless steel edges. Stupendous. Then began the laundry detergent chugging contest. Blue goo falling into open esophagi. Yummy, yum, yum. You believe we are all this dumb without question, and are ready to abandon an entire generation by the roadside. Now let's get into them some cinnamon, resounded the ringmaster general, honking a horn. Honk, honk. They'll be wishing they were never born by then. Blindfolded stuntman loop-de-loops on a mini dirt bike. He flies off the ramp and misses his landing, while those awaiting their entry to the phone booth shook their heads with discontent. A Russian dancing bear with a fez capers over with a fire extinguisher. Nothing to see here, said the ringmaster general, drawing a curtain round the accident that could have easily been prevented if only the stunt man could see. Really? Now for the trapeze. Blind like the daredevil comic, only self-imposed. They leapt from poles 100 feet above the big top, while a dozen simultaneously walked the tightrope. They are amazing. Oh my. Oh no. A body drops and becomes the latest in a series of flying Walenda tribute tragedies. Can't you see? Oh, no, you can't. The phone booth shudders with the pressure of another individual. No one realized that a few at the bottom had already died. No air left for them. A teen falls backward, choking on a bucket full of cinnamon to confused applause. What kind of show this was? A manifestation of madness. Groupthink gone wrong. You would have thought this circus would have been more entertaining. Instead, they spent the rest of the show cleaning up the mess. Good thing they had plenty of Tide Pods. Pray that your gods shall save you before you've had too much and your hair and skin turns blue. But at least with a blindfold on, you may never even notice. Are you ready to pre-order tickets for next year's circus? Damn straight. Let's go to this other one. I wrote about a news story from fairly recently. This is called "The Student Forced to Cut His Dreads Went On to Win the Wrestling Match." It's the day after Christmas dawn, though the moon is still peeking out from behind thin clouds. I'm at my mother's. She had to go in early for work. So, of course, I had to take advantage to write a poem in a different place than usual. You know, I'm still mad about that racist wrestling referee who made a student from my former school cut off his dreads in 90 seconds. I love that this student went on to win in spite of needless oppression. I remember how they used to taunt that Sikh in his black head scarf back when I attended Catholic school. People tend to attack that which they don't or refuse to understand. What a land of proud ignorance it is. All you need is white skin and a little bit of power. It goes straight to your head. Your head's entitlement, not surprising given the brutal history of our country. Anyone who seems less than, it's okay to move on in and steal their ancestors' lands. The government approved, so why shouldn't you? You can choose to follow or thereupon be swallowed by voracious great whites. It's not right. Have we lost sight of our humanity? Possibly, but at least that isn't the case for all of us. We should know better by now. Leading the way toward tomorrow. May my generation learn from the mistakes of the past. If you want homogeny in our society, you are an old school fool. So preoccupied with the destruction, quote unquote, of white culture. You're upset because that's a hallmark of your culture, and you're in fear that it will happen to you. Good. Your perception of reality only goes as far as your property lines, your race-based neighborhoods. It was illegal for me to step foot in some of these, give you a ticket for being in a known crime zone. I thought in my youth that I would be free to roam anywhere. But that's obviously not quite the case. Our lives are shaped by the bounds our fathers placed, artificial societal constructs designed to separate us. And if you don't play ball by their rules, they will come for you, for your hair with dull scissors. Just to further their point, to cement their undue rule over you, like when they made it a crime to wear baggy pants on the Wildwood, New Jersey boardwalk, where vacationers are always running around drunk and stoned and raising hell. It's the playground of some of the most obnoxious people on earth. Yet they choose to crack down on something as inconsequential as this. Racists just to prove a point that this is their world and not yours. This is not your town, even if you've been around it since your birth. What is this trivial madness ultimately worth? Support, it pours forth from around the globe. It is good to know that we aren't all so needlessly cruel. This is our fuel to continue. Thank you. Yeah, I did go to Buena Regional High School for a few months before I dropped out. And I went there, and that shit was fucked up over there, that school. I mean, well, they didn't like me very much, I'll tell you that much. It doesn't surprise me that that there's people like that referee that are just like angry at society, so he's just using his little tiny bit of power to just do what he feels like, and it's just, in this case, it's to be as racist as possible. And of course, the other white people can chime in and say, well, it was against the rules anyway for him to have dreads. But they could have told him that ahead of time. They didn't have to wait till he was on the mat and then say, you have to cut your hair off right now. Like that would change the outcome of a wrestling match, whether someone's hair was long or not. If anything, the guy with longer hair is at a disadvantage. Motherfuckers. And we're on like over 2 weeks since the government shut down. I'm sure a lot of you are happy about that. I'm not. We got our president pussy grabber is just fucking throwing up his hands and being as big a baby as possible if he doesn't get his way and get his precious border wall. Fuck your wall. Here is a poem about that I just thought of reading when talking about Donald Trump. It's called Your Penis is as Small as a Monopoly Game Piece. Each day is a new quest, a new challenge set to a difficulty that varies from beginner to advanced mastermind. Even after all these years, I am still discovering truths. Truths about the world, about myself, about the invisible forces that surround us. To these rules stick. They're only Newton's laws of physics and thermodynamics. I am quite convinced that they're more fluid than one may think, especially since it seems like every rule has to be broken now. A reflection of the nature of our leader, the Oompa Loompa with a dead rat stapled to his scalp, who cannot be stopped simply by telling him how pointless all of his New York City tough guy from Queens posturing is. We know your penis is as small as a Monopoly game piece. A game whose real estate facets you have brought over into reality. Which game piece, you ask? It's either the floppy shoe or the thimble. Take from my observations what you will. Will this world still be standing in 50 years? 20? The Russians say they have a new nuclear system. Whatever we respond with is bound to be worse. Of course they can stop us. They've already hacked our systems, like Boris from GoldenEye 64. I hope we don't have to live to see our world reduced to radioactive ash. We are moving past the point of no return. The planet is destined to burn. If not now, then in several billion years. The sun will become a red giant and henceforth swallow us. Who Should we trust not those who profess that they know us better than we know ourselves? The literati, the scholars are trapped in their own personal hell. Isn't that swell? I can't tell where the lies end and the reality begins. I might as well have eaten 100 hit sheet of acid. No kidding. I am sinking into the floor. I don't want to feel like this anymore. Living luxury covered in gore. Let us take a tour to the bowels of hell. Smell that sulfur. Mixed with aerosol hairspray and extravagant cologne that burns the nose and the soul. We have traveled deep into this treacherous hole. Will we ever fulfill our goals? If the answer was no, would you have ever listened in the first place? Like, I'm going to do another one. This is about a poetry fundraiser. They had 1228, and I wanted to go. I didn't make it. I've been very depressed and sick these past couple weeks, which is why I haven't been at any events and participating. And the podcast has been on a hiatus, but now I'm back. So let's do this poem I wrote called The Poetry Show is Starting Downtown. The poetry show is starting downtown, and I really wanted to be there. But I'm here and not feeling 100%, 30% tops. I miss everybody, and it has been a number of months since seeing anybody short of Zandy, Neal, and Karen Mobley at a house party. There will be a reading at Indaba Coffee Shop from 7 to 9 o'clock. I already missed my chance to reach the sign-up sheet in time. Another sigh in a long line of despair disappointments. At least I didn't tell everybody I would be there. 7,500 followers across too many different social media accounts. Do I really require quite so many separate pages? If anything, I need more of them. More content, more expectations, more frustration, more consternation. Do I grow to hate them? Resent their existence as this is the primary portal? How else will I interact with anyone from Turkey? Social media is my primary key. Though it perpetually drains me, it would be nice to get out tonight and see some people and read some words. But it seems like I am dead in the water. Rich men floating, rotting belly up between merchants and paupers. What thought process brings me to this? I'm about due to pay once again for my modicum of bliss. Any modicum that I have received. Death takes what he needs to balance the books and the scales. Each victory seems like I've failed. It's a drop of piss in a rusty bucket of roofing nails. I'm wailing into the night. Though my mouth it will not open, and my senses have utterly been broken by the impudent writ of inborn madness. And now I'm flailing, spinning sharply without anything to guide me. Have I not already suffered enough for my transgressions of impropriety? Surely, possibly, maybe, not sure. I don't know. All I wanted to do tonight was make it to the show, but there shall always be another. Or at least something similar. Cigarette burning down to filter, a blister forms from the heat trap between my middle and forefinger. The same spot where I had burnt myself long ago about 10 years on a combination of Vicodin and Xanax. Even after all these drugs, I still keep track, while a few of my old contemporaries back in New Jersey languish and turn into mush or worse. I am glad that I chose to record so much of this in stacks of books with broken spines and pages falling out and all over. Nobody thought I could recover. If not by their way, certainly, positively not on my own. Yeah. Very nice. Let's do this one I wrote this morning. This is called It's Like Jerking Off Meat That's Already Been Beat by Masturbatory Violence. I had to get a new pen to replace the one that ran dry yesterday. What's there to say? What except that this country is being carved up for billionaires and imposters who claim as such. I'm looking at you, orange-skinned, spray-tan, stubby penis racist du jour. They're carving it up like a shining Christmas ham. Can you see the danger? We are no strangers to it. We live life on the razor's edge. On the edge of a doubly serrated, bloodied, rusty blade. One wrong cut, and it will be us. Don't trust these motherfuckers, them and their armies of toadied lackeys, spineless and parroting whatever you pay them to say. It's like they're jerking off meat that's already been beat by masturbatory violence. May God rain down sulfur upon us to cleanse us from the sins of our fathers, fools and leaders. Wipe the entire slate clean and start again. Know what I mean? I would cut out my spleen to end this madness. Know what I mean? I have to dream even when those dreams have become so overwhelming. Moribund, no light can escape this dark, dark place. We must all face our demons, even if some of us are in fact demons themselves. And what a horrendous power these beings wield. If there was only a way to forge a shield that may bear the brunt of their terrible blows, those who ran in fear would then be rallied. No longer will they suffer to bear the weight of evil as dictated by the plutocrat in chief and his miserable army of Nazis, retirees, and angry young white men who love to post anonymously on Twitter when possible. When will be the end of this government shutdown? You want to starve us out to get your precious border wall? I call you an asshole, a blowhard, a steaming pile of rotten crocodile shit. Nothing but mad apes and reptiles. Your emergency means nothing to me except tyranny. People say, Alex, why you gotta be so angry all the time? And I say, I write what I feel. I write what I feel. Sorry if that came across wrong, but that's the way it is. Let's do Our Guiding Light is that reflected off of CGI superhero underwear worn over top the pants. Ah, yes, another seemingly endless evening of sweat-drenched nightmares. Attaining consciousness at 4 a.m., clothes soaked in fearful perspiration. When the clock strikes 7, what will happen? Will I forget my meds again? Here comes a sneezing fit. I have pulled a muscle in my left arm. Such was the utter explosiveness of it all. I can't do the news, but I can do Looney Tunes. Except, oh brother, it's an old one and they added color. I wish my wrists weren't so sore. I wonder how people can spend hours playing video games. I can't do it anymore for more than a few moments. The space heater grumbles over the early morning silence, and I gaze back at that glowing orange grill, how narrowing my bloodshot and weepy eyes. Glassy and glossy, I am receding from society. My participation may vary, waiting for the birth of another generation of vile wasps to torment me while trying to smoke, waiting for the next rage-inducing half-assed tweet from the Fuhrer president, pussy-grabbing son of a bitch. Another Abbott and Costello bit comes on, and it doesn't surprise me. That's all they used to do back then in the 1940s. Daffy's taking Porky hostage until the pig hires his nephew, lollipop licking, for movie pictures, Sleepy LaRue. Though the pictures are still moving, this world has so changed. Our guiding light is that reflected off CGI superhero underwear, worn over top the pants. I would rather trust Deadpool than Superman. Superman seems all right, but he must think we're stupid with his hat and glasses disguise. It's like he didn't even bother trying. People must have paid a lot less attention to detail in those days. Some of these mothers don't even recognize the faces of their children. Lost child. Found. Close enough. They didn't have many photos to provide for comparison, whether it was little Jimmy or the lost son of William Henry Harrison. It's anybody's guess. What shall be the next move after this? Will it be public or will it be surreptitious? Either way, someone's gonna get suspicious. Live your life as well as you can in between movie shows and episodes. And we'll close this chapter before any more of the end is revealed. Thank you. One of those parts in that poem where I talked about the mother that couldn't recognize the child was from a story I read from back then where a woman's child went missing, and then when somebody recovered them, she was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's my kid, and then was like, yeah, okay, let the kid live there and took him in. And then, like, realized that they made the wrong choice, and I was like, what the fuck? Because people think we're fucked up nowadays and don't pay attention to detail, but someone like that, like, you got kids and you're like, I don't know, is that Jimmy? I guess they all look the same. You're fucked up. You better get the fuck off the bottle. I hope everybody has a good week. I'm going to be doing a lot more writing on like day 78, I think, or 68 or something. I don't know. I'm on a lot of days in a row of writing, the most days in a row ever. I've been writing a poem or working on a poem every day since the beginning of November. And now we're in the beginning of January, and I've written every day. And that's my best advice for all of you, to write every day and just make it a habit and make it part of your routine. And that way, you'll have like a lot to show for it. Because I feel like the number one reason people don't write is that they're afraid that what they write isn't going to be good or it's not going to matter. Deal with that when later, you know, deal with how grammatically correct it is when you go to correct it. You don't need to get hung up on whether somebody did this before or that. If you got enough personality, then your personality is going to shine through. And even if you're making a carbon copy pretty much of something, it's going to be, people will be able to tell, this is yours. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it your way. And everyone tells me how to do things. They give me advice and say, this is how you should do this. And you know what? I found that the most successful people that I see all over the place are the people that didn't listen to them and just kept doing their own thing in the best way, as well as they could. If I listened to everybody who's told me advice, I wouldn't write anything because you can't make everybody happy, especially when you're dealing with a lot of different demographics and a lot of different, people from different backgrounds, cultures, especially the age groups. We got the major poetry groups in Spokane. You got the literary poets, and then you got the slam spoken word poets, and like just two different worlds. So like there really isn't much of a way that you can make both of those parties happy. Same thing goes with the art community, where there's the fine artists, and then you got the more experimental artists, and then you got people who are all tightly wound and this is what I learned in school. You do not do this, and they're the same type of people that tell me that I can't start a sentence with and you should go fuck yourself. Especially with stuff like poetry, where it is whatever you want it to be. Art is whatever you want it to be. Make it and do it your way. And that's my advice for you. Manzoni loves you. Manzoni in the morning. Signing out.